this page has a very little bit of funny story, Spy wala ke bas karke chhod dene ka, no face, no name.
How did you plan on starting something of your own at this age, or is this only the thing that you're currently focusing on? So is digital art gonna be the next big booming thing, or people will want the physical drawing?
AI ko bhi, you have to make him understand.
Right.
Okay, you know what? I want this to be presented. Right now, the market is very competitive. People will find same thing in like 10 different options. Honestly, it is a little bit difficult. So I'm also a freelancer, intern for somebody else.
Right.
Somebody is mine. So I also understand that, what the other person would think. Life is not like, कि बनाओ आराम से content, रखो 16 तारीख को. No,
Right.
every day there's something new in the market. And you have to keep jumping on it.
The drop rate of any venture, any startup, any idea that someone starts is very high in youngsters. Hello and welcome to the podcast. This episode features Khushi, the founder of Silent Strokes, a visual designer and an art director who has worked in various ads and short films. Let's listen to her journey, her challenges, and the artistic vision of life that she approaches. Hi Khushi,
Hi.
welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
So I've been seeing your journey and it is very fascinating that you started in such a young age. What was your journey like? How did you start with Silent Strokes and how did you plan on achieving what you're achieving today?
So this page has a very little bit of funny story, So I was just talking to one of my friend and I was just doodling around on my iPad.
Right.
So I was on video call and he was just seeing that what am I doing? I was just doing typography. So he was like, why don't you open a page and do this? This is very fascinating.
Okay.
I actually was doing typography, like writing names and, just doodling around. So I was like, are you serious? He's like, you can do this. Then I came up with the idea that let's not name myself, like, no, खुशी के नाम से नहीं करना है,
Right.
किसी के नाम से नहीं करना है. Let's just be वो spy वाला के बस करके छोड़ देने का. No face, no name,
Right.
nothing. So even today, there's one highlight of about me, if you see it, that there's no name, no face, just strokes.
Okay.
So that was the idea initially. So for like almost 3 months, I kept on putting the story. I kept on doing it. I kept on posting, but nobody was aware. Okay. Nobody in my me and that one friend was aware that I'm doing something like this on Instagram. Neither my friend, parents. I used to do every day like normally.
Right.
The way I do it.
And you just used to record it.
I record and I post it. So initially kaisa tha ki it was like 100 views, 200 views. Used to fascinate me. I was like, wow, people like such things. And then one fine day I revealed to my friend, what, okay, guys, I'm doing something like this. And they were like, oh my god. And Silent Stroke name, sorry, that was just very random. I asked ChatGPT, give me options, what, I'm doing this. So ChatGPT is my friend.
Right.
He knows everything. So मैंने उसको बताया कि see, I'm planning something like this. Can you help me? He gave me a couple of names and randomly I picked. So there's no इतना
background story
कि oh, this was the real sign. But silent रहना था मेरे को, that is it. And Stoke because I was writing the name initially.
Interesting. So, but why did you not tell it to your friends in the beginning itself? Ki I'm starting with this. Why did you?
I was not really sure that how it's gonna be. Okay. And I'm not a person who wants to become like face on Instagram initially. I have always worked like behind the camera, working in styling here and there.
Right. So you wanted to keep your art more presentable than you yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Interesting. So you have studied in the field of designing, and usually in the initial stages of learning and growth, and at the career trajectory, people usually take up jobs or projects instead of starting something of their own in the initial early stages itself. How did you plan on starting something of your own at this age, or is this only the thing that you're currently focusing on, or do you multitask?
I multitask.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, I started visual designing. So that is my actually primary thing, which I am doing it.
Right.
Managing social media, doing graphical, doing creative post, doing all the hoarding designs and all. That is my primary thing. While in Silent Stroke is something which I'm passionate about. So first thought initially was to become a fine artist,
Okay.
But then I saw the market that it was booming towards the more digitalized artwork, more computerized, and not those hard say painting banana was not something which I see right now.
Right.
Again, like not the big markets. Yeah, so that was my actual thing of coming up and multitasking both the ways. So yes.
Nice. So let's talk about, you mentioned that digital art is very much booming rather than the physical form of art or drawings. But then, is it a long-term sustaining thing that, digital art, because you drew in your laptop or iPad and it's in your iPad. It is not going to people's wall, or it is not very presentable to the entire world.
Yeah.
So I believe there's a stoppage to digital art कि आपने ड्रॉ किया और मे बी इंस्टाग्राम पे इस पे डाला बट इंस्टाग्राम पे भी आई सी people drawing on canvas and those reels going more viral.
Yeah.
So is digital art gonna be the next big booming thing, or people will want the physical drawings in their walls?
So it is always going to be contradictory,
Right.
I still am a believer of both of it. While I do both. That's why. So actually canvas is something like, you can retouch and you can have that feeling of doing with all the materials hands on.
Right.
That's an activity like you can do it by yourself. While if I do it on the iPad, I don't have any feeling of how a color would feel and touch wala. It's just one pan and the entire thing is done. We have the option of texture and everything you see. Brush ka ye bhi. So I don't have the feeling ki acha thick brush or the flat brush, how it's going to be. But while I see in the market, of course, the real artist who does by their hands with the actual, vision is going to be always on the level one. I mean, top one. But abhi logo ko na patience nahi hai. They don't have time. They don't have budget.
Right.
It's always, it's everybody's, mindset. So digitally, they get the digital thing done, they get it printed, they make it on the canvas with high resolution. So even lot of hotels and wherever you see, तो उसमें क्या होता है digital printed होता है, you feel it, oh my god, it's hand drawn.
Okay.
There are actually a lot of textures and brushes on iPad and Procreate or some different Illustrator में, which actually feels like real brush.
Acha.
Yeah, that is something which I feel it has both. I mean, both of them have their own market.
Okay, interesting. डिजिटल आर्ट में ना मेरे को ऐसा फील होता है कि अब तो एआई आ गया है, तो अब तो गिबली आर्ट बन गया, या यू जस्ट गिव अ प्रॉम्प्ट एंड a drawing or whatever you want is very ready.
Yeah.
So be it digital art or canvas, people will shift towards making life easier and spending less money, and probably AI is doing it. Do you think it is diminishing the value of art and drawings? And
not really. See, AI को भी you have to make him understand.
Right.
कि you know what, I want this to be presented. कि मुझे mountain के ऊपर sun चाहिए. अबे उसको बोल दिया मैंने कि I need mountain and sun in one nice landscape.
Right.
He's gonna put it anywhere. So directing is also one of the skill an artist has. That I want this feeling, I want this, blah 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 blah. तो वो imagination power भी होना चाहिए एक artist में. If I ask a very random guy that what, make something like this, he won't have that imagination that I want something like this. Whereas artist has the composition, the placement, the layouting, that how and canvas would look like, how a print, even of digital.
Okay.
AI को भी direct करना पड़ता है. AI will just give you a very random thing, and we have to keep on asking that, can you change this? Can you change this?
But then again, talking about it, कि AI को direction जो देना है, me not being an artist also can explain what I want in terms of कि I know what is in my head, what I want. Maybe I'll just talk with AI through the voice option and I'll explain it to him. और शायद एक prompt में नहीं देगा तो 2 3 4 prompt में दे देगा. Explaining it to an artist or finding out the right art for yourself in maybe a museum or a art gallery or somewhere, it gets more difficult and it is more time consuming. So people usually don't like that, and especially the Gen Zs, we want everything very fast.
Very fast, correct.
So will people value art? Will people still go to artists, or will they start creating their own?
So I think honestly it is very person to person. Even I am being a designer, I still ask Gemini very different art prompts that you want immediately make this, make this. So my even life gets, so all the designers, I'm being very honest, people are using AI. for their, of course, time constraint की वजह से now my things are getting done very easily.
Right.
So yeah, but the art, which is, you know, the hand painted, hand hewn, where actually your brain, the real craftsmanship is never going to get old. I don't think so. It is even coming, you know, abhi zyada बढ़ रहा है.
Right.
Coming to the scenario where Gen Zs are actually valuing the art more.
Is
because I have seen a lot of places, like even if you see Mumbai में NMACC.
Okay.
They are actually.
What is that?
Neeta Mani Mukesh, that
okay.
conventional center.
वहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा आर्ट का है.
So she is also promoting all the artisans. She's actually coming along with her new ventures ideas, where they're actually promoting more arts, like from different parts of India, like seeing India's culture.
Lovely.
So not promoting AI, really, but see, it is actually helping us in our ways.
Right.
So we have to see the, you know, pros and cons and how to be using it in a way.
Nice. So coming to the business part of it, or let's say the venture part of it that you started, how difficult is it to handle everything alone as a individual founder, to a page or to the activities that you provide and to the services that you provide? Do you get support from your team you have, or maybe your friends or families, or do you just manage it all alone at this young age?
It's a mix of it again. Managing it all alone. I'm a solo founder of it. But yeah, I do have, you know, freelancer interns who works with me according to my requirements.
Okay.
So there's a particular team who's working behind this brand. But yeah, whenever the requirement is there, like people are coming in. But still, you know, Gen Z wants a very quick कि हमको काम दो, हमको काम खत्म चाहिए, पैसा दो, money.
Right.
They don't know the value कि अच्छा, I'm going to work here, I'm going to work for this, you know. तो ये बहुत different perspective है, but yeah, my friends have been always supportive. Yeah, my family is being very supportive for whatever I've been doing. They've been very supportive. So yeah, but I always wanted to open up on my own, to have my own brand, to build up something which is artistic, designery, and more of, you know, experience based,
right,
where I get to actually interact with people more and to network myself.
Nice. So you mentioned that you hire freelance interns, and probably they are also very young Gen Z people. So in visual designing and artistic field itself, it is very personal to you. You imagine what you want and you try to deliver what you want and what the customer wants, or maybe the people want, and you try to amalgamate both of them. Now explaining your idea, your vision to interns, because for them it may not be very personal. उनको तो सिर्फ है कि we got our work, we'll get our money and we'll build our portfolio.
Correct.
They don't invest their creativity or time into it. So I believe कि जो freelance interns you talked about, तो कहीं ना कहीं for them it is just another work, it is just another project, and they don't really genuinely care about what you want. While you being your own project or your own client, you would want to give them the artistic vision that you have or maybe the client has. How do you bring those people on board with the same vision that is yours?
Honestly, it is a little bit difficult. So I'm also a freelancer, you know, intern for somebody else, somebody's mind. So I also understand that, you know, what the other person would think. But then I actually make that making a person understand is not really difficult, because she's also a designer, he's also a designer, or maybe an artist, somebody. So it's a, you know, way of working with a particular person. Once you start working with, you know, selectively, I do have very selective interns, especially. So I know that they need space, they need time, they need this. So, you know, एक या दो बार मिलके तुमको पता चल जाता है, like, you know, how a person works. So you just have to know that psychology. उनके दिमाग में क्या है? Are they actually coming for money? Are they actually coming for experience? Well, a lot of people are there that they don't need money. They just need, you know, कि हमको बस आप काम दो, हमको experience करना है. There are people who's like, can you give me money, please? Then only I'll work. Then you actually understand, you know, that they're not here for the work. They're here more for like money. So it's a game of, you know, understanding a person.
Right. So, Khushi, in initial phase of any business, the biggest challenge is getting customers on board or getting clients on board. How do you manage that? How do you get clients for yourself?
I'm still actually looking for it always.
Okay.
So it is actually difficult. Right now, the market is very competitive. People will find same thing in like 10 different options. You need to find your niche, which I'm actually still figuring out. But, in my belief, PR is the ultimate solution. Consistency is the ultimate solution. If it is not PR, like if somebody is not extrovert or socially able, then consistency, like you have to show up every single day on your page. People should actually, one day somebody would actually might, discover that this page is there or somebody is working like this. You have to show up yourself. So what my personal belief is, PR, like personal, relation. You have to network every day. You have to meet new people at least once in a day. कोई नए लोग को मिलना, to understand what a person does, how is the market here. Not just designer. Like I don't believe कि हर रोज एक नए designer को मिलना. Even a waiter, even a cafe owner, even a hairstylist, anybody.
But just talk.
Talk. At least you understand कि अच्छा, where you might actually help them out. Where they might be helpful for you. So that's how actually a client work comes in. And definitely Instagram, where you actually showcase up. LinkedIn, Behance, multiple, platforms. Yeah.
So you mentioned, about posting every day. And you also mentioned about your own niche. So we'll first talk about your own niche. So we personally see a lot of glass engravings in your Instagram feed and everything. Is that your niche, or how did you come up with glass engravings?
I would not say yes, that it's not my niche. But yeah, one of the most, talk of the town. Okay, oh, now she's doing something which is, very different. Still, I feel like a lot of people are doing, but not like as a competitor thing. So Urgency is, of course, one of the platform that actually gave me a space where I could do this. So they were just actually, somebody from the team, somebody approached me that, can you do this? On, I used to write on iPad. I used to doodle it. Typography has been like, my forte that I like to actually do all of it. So they were like, why don't you do it on glass? So we find it very interesting. Why can you do it live? In front of like customers or clients or whoever comes in. So it was just their thought and like my execution.
So it was their idea.
So it was in the market. I did saw like people used to do it, but I was not really confident that should I do this as a business? Is it gonna work? Because I have seen multiple, Haldi Carnival or anywhere like live activities, not as a business selling product. It was not like wow. But then when I actually started doing it, people actually felt it, no, that this is very personalized, customized, and it was like quick 5 minutes thing, which you can like keep it like forever, which is like your own. It's not a normal, glass as well.
What was that feeling when you actually did it for the first time? And the first time you mentioned that you started with it was in front of customers.
So it was not like a personal किसी के लिए बना रही हो. It's like one fine day you're going to flee and there are like thousands of people coming here and there they are demanding that, you know what, I want in Japanese, I want in Korean to be written. Yeah, I want my wedding logo. Any very random, सबके आ रहे थे. But while I was actually doing it, it was not something that I was doing it forcefully. मुझे मजा आ रहा था because I'm getting something new out of it. और I don't feel कि वो monotonous जॉब जैसा नहीं है कि भाई आपको एक ही सबको लिख के देना है कि नाम लिखो ये. There were their different ideas कि I want this to be here, this to be here, their imagination, which I was actually executing. And then of course meeting new people, having their own idea and executing and giving them was very like heart touching and very, I felt good actually, honestly.
Some more of your artistic nature that came out.
I got a platform honestly to express myself more. And to understand like wow.
Talking to the second question that I had, very specifically you mentioned that you have to regularly post on Instagram. In this field, probably you will get your content maybe when you are interacting with a customer, maybe in a workshop, maybe when there's a stall of yours, or when you're trying something new. How do you get more content maybe one day you don't have any content because everything got exhausted because you've already posted about all the events that have occurred. Now you still need to post, you still need to put up stories. How do you manage your content apart from visual?
It is difficult, honestly. I mean, you can actually use the raw photo of your previous work, but like how long? Until you get new work, you have to put up something. Or you have to, stick to the trends. Acha, aaj there's some new trend. You have to make something out of it. Then actually it pushes me.
Right.
So it is very, दोनों साइड की बात है that there's something when you see actually people like you who's doing it,
right,
and they're actually following the trend. Oh, आज trend आ गया, you have to put something like this. Then you start again brainstorming. अच्छा, I have to do something like this where my actually glass engraving or anything which is of my forte comes in. साइलेंट शो का कुछ आना तो इट इज वेरी हार्ड एंड फास्ट. अभी लाइफ इज नॉट लाइक कि बनाओ आराम से कंटेंट रखो 16 तारीख को. नो, एवरी डे देयर इज समथिंग न्यू इन द मार्केट and you have to keep jumping on it.
Right. So you work as an artist also, and then you have your role as a content creator also that think on the content strategies.
So actually along with this I manage social media from like multiple accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. So of course I'm into that zone as well. Okay, not for my page, for the other page. So I have to managing it all. Right. It is a bit difficult, but I like it, honestly.
How do you manage it? I mean, you managing your freelance work and maybe your content part, strategist part of it, and at the same time your own personal venture business. How do you manage your time?
It just actually happens, honestly. I mean, I always wanted to have something, not a monotonous, not a 9 to 5 thing that you have to go, you have to just get this thing done and then that's it. When it comes to actually brainstorming your own things, nurturing your brain every day keeps me pushing myself. And when actually people start appreciating for whatever I have been doing, so yeah, it pushes me.
Right. So the hustle, you like hustling.
I like
around
hustling.
And,
I mean, of course, not so much, but actually when it actually the result जो होता है ना, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है और something like that.
तो I believe कि कहीं ना कहीं जेनजीज में ये है कि एक तो हम हसल कर लेंगे बट हमको खुद का कुछ करना है. वी नीड टू एस्टैब्लिश समथिंग ऑफ आवर ओन. बट देन इनिशियल फेजेस में देयर are a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you would have also faced when you started it.
Yeah.
So, and people drop it. The drop rate of any venture, any startup, any idea that someone starts is very high in youngsters. How do you manage to stick with it? What will be one advice as you yourself in the very beginning phase of starting something to build something very big in the future? How do you plan on surviving it, and what are the maybe the ideas or tips you would give to somebody who is listening and admiring you and maybe wanting to start something of their own?
Just do it. That's what I see.
Right.
The more you think, the more it gets worsened. That's what I have felt so far. That if I am thinking to open up a page and it takes months and months, उसके पहले तो आपके आगे 100 लोग बना चुके हो गए. There are like multiple accounts who has very rubbish content. Right. Still people like to see. And scrolling Instagram reel have been like, it's an addiction. It's a day-to-day updates, news channel, whatever you see it. It's all Instagram right now, what I see. Okay. So whoever wants to pursue, whoever wants to go with Instagram, content creation, anything, just do it before, anybody comes in. Then you will regret. Right. देखो स्टार्टिंग में तो ऐसा होता है. Not everybody is going to be, एक ही दिन में कोई मिलियन नहीं पहुंचने वाला है. और एक ही दिन में कोई nobody is going to be Ambani or some hero, heroine or actor or something. You have to work hard. You have to be consistent with your work, and that's fine if days are not working as per your expectations. But after actually doing so much, and then when you look back yourself, acha, oh, I did so much, which I feel it right now, that I was not planning a year back that I'll be opening a page where I'll be doing this, that. Right. That one pinch that I actually made कि मुझे बनाना चाहिए. Now that I see that a lot of artists, designers have their own page, but still people like the other side, they're still, questioning, Kim banao, nahi banao, what people will think. People are going to think. But while they see your achievement on the other side, they'll be happy as well.
Right, right.
So I think just do it. I mean, you should not think even once. आगे का आगे देख लेंगे.
हाँ, मतलब एक बहुत long term के लिए इतना अभी से नहीं सोचना चाहिए.
I really don't feel right now that you should have a long term planning on Instagram at least.
Right. But then when it comes to business, you probably need to invest, and investment depends on different scale for different ventures and business and startups. How do you take that situation of investment, and very specifically money investment? Time, I believe youngsters have a lot of time. Gen Zs have a lot of time. But when it comes to money, people invest and then they are stuck because they've invested a lot of money, or they just leave it कि ठीक है और कमा लें. I believe both the approaches is wrong. Sticking to it is very important. What is your take on it?
I think mine would be very, like, I'm not a person who's into, a risk taker.
Okay.
A big time.
Right.
Honestly, my page which I'm running, I'm not investing so much, not in like monetary wise also. Right. So I'm playing it very safely, where I'm actually getting something out of it, where people are getting out of something, So business perspective se to, I mean, not the right person to ask, honestly. But chota risk lena is important, at least to start somewhere. Of course, like not a big time, but yeah, I mean, I honestly am not the right person to ask for like big investments.
Right.
But हाँ, a small investment.
I believe कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा investment तो सब में चाहिए.
सब में चाहिए. Investment of yours, your own timing, your efforts.
Right. So basically, it's more like you invest smartly.
How wisely, how wisely you use it, that is important.
So Khushi, apart from silent strokes, you also mentioned that you're a visual designer. What all other spectrums of visual designing have you explored?
There are actually a lot of spectrums which you are talking. Like, I've studied UI, UX, packaging, branding. Right. Branding is something which I still do it. Packaging is a bit something which I have to do it. Game designing is something which I did in my college time. I made 2 of the game design. Okay. One was of Bollywood because I always admired to be in that field. So I made playing cards of it. And the other major part, that was of publication design. That was one of my, option C or D, for my career base, to work in more of publication design as a publication designer. I've wrote actually 4 to 5 books for kids. And the kids actually, which are more of story based, more of, activity based, more of their actually curriculum based. So I have illustrated, I've researched, and I've wrote the entire, made the entire book with like hands-on printed.
So how did you come up with all the research, all the content that the kids will like, or maybe, it's very difficult to understand what the children will like.
Yeah.
Because the right illustration or the right cartoon or the right picture is very difficult. Correct. How did you come up with that approach?
So I've studied psychology.
Okay.
In my 11th and 12th, and child psychology has come up in my house since very long.
Okay.
So my nana, he was a professor, he was a principal, and he used to be visiting faculty at Nirma University and different Gujarati universities and all. Then comes to my uncle, my auntie, my mom. Right. Everybody is in education spectrum.
Right.
And somebody's in the admins, somebody's in management, and somebody's, teaching field, my masi, everybody, coming to. So it has been like generational thing, where teaching has been one of the thing, where kids are one of the thing. I'm also working with one of the school in Ahmedabad, where I'm into, managing the events and, understanding more like what is the child. So I have spent like quite a bit time in that school, to understand like what is it. So coming to the main topic, how did it come up from? So my major project in my 4th year was publication designing.
Okay.
So that's where it actually came from, that I designed for kids. I've spent almost 2 to 3 months in school, understanding the actually, toddlers, like how do they behave, what they do. I've spent in library, understanding like what I'll actually, then I actually started observing, kids, like what do they pick when they actually enter the library. Do they like, pop arts? Do they like, wo khol ke kuch fascinate ho raha hai? Do they like glittery thing? Or they like just, flat layouts, just like big? Or do they like, textured base? I actually got, कि बहुत सारा कुछ उनको fascinate करता है. At the same time, they find it very clumsy कि नहीं फेंक दो इसको. You can't have a A4 normal GSM paper. Right. That's what I understand. So there are like multiple things I have to observe, and then after, almost 6 months of, working on it, researching, being a psychology student, I understood it more, even better.
Right.
And then, of course, college, my professors, again, school. So even their teachers, their president, principal, like like there were a lot of people who actually helped me out in that. And then that's where I actually ended up making design for the books and illustrations, and kids friendly things, fascinates me a lot. Even
Right.
today, all the doodles and all. So yeah.
So I believe you have explored multiple genres, and it's the right approach, because at initial times, if you start exploring genres, you start exploring different segments or subsegments to what you want to cater, it gives you more clarity in terms of what probably you would want in the longer run. So I genuinely take this approach, and I also advise this approach to the youth that come to me in terms of any guidance. Start exploring multiple fields that you are interested in, and you will get the right path on what you want to focus. And maybe that is how you come up with, I want to be one of the biggest art director of Indian cinema and entertainment. Nice. Interesting. You mentioned so many roles that you have taken and various aspects of visual designing that you have catered to. But at times, I believe there's always a creative blockage to artists. There's a barrier to thinking कि अब इससे आगे और क्या नया लाएं, इससे आगे और क्या creative या क्या different लेके आएं. How do you cope up with such situations if that occurs with you?
Meditation.
Okay.
And meditation is one of the key, which I would say. So I've been following Art of Living since like long. There also actually it comes, assisting the courses with the kids only, kids and teens, to understand people more. That's where actually my, the segment of publication design comes also. But yeah, coming back to the topic, meditation is something which I felt that, the calmer you get, the silence you get after getting it, so actually back to the reality as well. Okay, acha, now I've burnt out my, thing. It all sorted out, settled ho gaya. Abhi now get back to your reality. Right. Get back to the work. So that's where it comes from. And for me, honestly, creative burnouts is zyada bhi. I used to actually have my childhood story. I don't have that major anger issues. So whenever I used to get angry or get frustrated, right, or mama ne kuch bol diya, gussa ho gayi, ye ho gaya, I used to lock the door. I used to start painting. Okay. I used to doodle. I used to draw. So that's my expression. Right. And even today, whenever I'm feeling very low, whenever I'm feeling I'm having a mental breakdown or creative blockage, anything, I don't think that, what, this is my work, I have to sell, I have to do this and that. I just take a couple of things, jo haath mein mila, usse kuch bhi bana. It actually comes out so good. Right. So my mom is always like, isse thoda gussa kar le to na kuch bana ke degi. Now she'll come up with something, very good. So that's my, expression of anger or expression of my mood, emotions. Right. So you turn your creative blockage into another creativity altogether. Actually it happens. And if nothing works out, of course, meditation is something that you need your own space. Actually go out for a walk, or just being around the nature, or hanging out is also something where I feel that it might help me in creating blockage, or meeting people. You understand that it's not just you. There are like multiple more people who is having the same problem, so it's fine. So Khushi, in initial days in our youth life, we always try to do multiple things, and maybe at times we do not stick to it because we have a wider perspective to life and career. So do you see Silent Strokes as your full-time career in longer run, or do you have another vision of yours? I don't see myself Silent Stroke as a longer run, but as a career, it's very different from what all I have conveyed right now. Right. So I've studied visual designing, and my actual the dream goal to have in my life is art direction. Right. To become an art director for one of the biggest films, or I'm a little bit of Bollywood kida. Okay. When it comes to work, that I want to have my own work as an art director in one of the the biggest cinema. So that is my thing. I have worked in a couple of Gujarati ads, Hindi ads, short films as a art director, assistant art director, and a bit of styling, right, product styling for a couple of ad campaigns. So that is my actual career, which has vision. But while as Silent Stroke, it is more of my passion, which I always wanted to do. Right. And now it is giving me business out of it, which is a plus one for me. Right. So we see you managing both, just like you're trying to manage everything, your freelance content strategy all together right now. Correct. Interesting. You mentioned that you have studied visual design. So now this particular spectrum, art,
artistic fields and designing and everything is very practical. I have not studied, so I don't know how teaching happens in this particular place. But then, how important is it to have a academic degree in designing, or is it just practical learning that helps you out?
For me, it's a big no for this degree thing.
Right.
But ultimate, if you get nothing out of it, at least you have something to show up, and then you can get a job, or at least you can see that I have a degree.
Right.
There are a lot of actually speakers, business owners, businessmen, CEOs who don't have degree. They have built something out of it. Even if you ask any of the leaders, there are like a lot of, we shouldn't name, but we know it.
Right.
They don't have a degree, but they have pursued something and they are somewhere.
Right.
But on the other side, when we see practical learn is the actually ultimate solution for all of it. So I feel when I was in my college, I also did my degree, of course. While I was again multitasking. I was actually having my practical experiences. I was working along with my college studies. Like from second or third year, I started working as a freelancer. So it is important to work while you actually be in the college. And for me, college was not just about degree. It was more about, again, networking, meeting new people, meeting actually to know that how actually designers work, how the culture, upbringing in the college area, how is it, and how is it going to be in the next 5-10 years.
Right.
So when actually I was in school, I used to have my very selectively people who was a designer, who was in that. When I actually go into the space where there are only just designer and just artists, you see a whole different perspective, you see a whole different idea. So that a place is an exposure. It's not
Right.
just a degree. That's what I felt, and I felt of doing it. There was a time when I felt that there's no use of degree, even when people go to job. I mean, especially talking about the designers and artists, still they see more of skills.
Your portfolio
Skill building
matters
is
a lot.
very important. Even if you have studied from a biggest university or anything, if you don't have skills, if you don't have that confidence to show up your work, what's the point?
Yeah.
So your skill building, your experience, your personal growth is very important over degree or anything you may ask for.
Right. But then academic degree is what you believe, or maybe I also believe very similar, in a very similar way, that it's more like you get a network. You
Yeah.
get a similar set of people you can
Yeah,
network and build contacts
Correct.
with. And maybe you get some learnings in terms of, because somewhere down the lane, even in practical learning, there are some theories you actually need to know. So
Correct.
that helps a lot. Interesting. Khushi, we also have a very new segment that we have put up in the podcast, that is, you have to cast your vote.
Okay.
Very simply explaining it in one line, you have to choose between this or that.
Okay, done.
So, and it will be a very rapid fire. So you just need to answer, and if you have a reasoning to it, one liner reasoning.
Okay, done.
Digital art or physical form of art?
Digital.
Business or freelance?
Business.
What role do you like more? Visual designer or content strategist?
Visual designer.
Do you like hosting workshops, or do you like being part of events where you just directly
hosting workshop?
Jumping on trending reels or your niche content?
Jumping until I find my niche.
Nice. Silent observation or active conversation?
Actively observing so that I can do my work in silent.
Nice. Last, original ideas or inspired ideas?
Inspire ideas to make an original one.
Nice. Thank you so much, Khushi, for answering these questions. Thank you so much for being on our podcast. It was lovely talking to you, and I hope people listening to it actually start their own vision, start their own ventures, and go into the artistic field and regain what they've actually started maybe in the early childhood days.
Thank you so much. It was great having this here. Thank you.